United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I start to move the agenda table, please? Moved by Vice President Stencil, seconded by Mr. Butler. Any additions, corrections, deletions to the agenda? Seeing none, all is in favor? That passes 9-0. I would like now to welcome our Arcadia Middle School students. Good evening, Mr. Lum.
Good evening, board members, administrators, teachers, and families. My name is Dobby Zangada, and I'm a 7th grader at Arcadia Middle School. We're excited to present on a program that is making a real difference in our lives at Arcadia, LEAPS. LEAP stands for Learn, Explore, Achieve, and Play. Our goal tonight is to share how this program is helping us and all our fellow Titans to learn, explore, and grow. LEAPS is possible because of a strong partnership between the Arcadia Community Schools and the Boys and Girls Club. This partnership gives us a safe and supportive space to be after school. It means we get the best of both worlds, great space right here at school, and the resources and experience of an organization dedicated to youth development. So what exactly is LEAPS? It's our after-school program where learning meets fun. Every day is a new adventure. We spend times on hands-on activities, creative projects, and team challenges. The program is designed to help us grow in every way, academically, socially, and emotionally, all while having a blast. The adults running LEAPS are amazing. We want to introduce you to our fantastic LEAP staff. They make the program feel like a family. Cassidy Torres is our program director. Elise Cardarelli is the assistant program director. And Marcus Birdsong is our dedicated team lead. They're the people who keep everything running smoothly and always there to support us.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Perez, and I'm a 7th grader at Arcadia Middle School. Our schedule is busy and keeps us engaged until the end of the day. We arrive from 2:50 to 3 p.m. for arrival and circle time. From 3 to 3:30 p.m., we get homework help or do quiet reading. The main event from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m., that's when we do a group activity, arts and crafts or STEM. Then we have dinner from 4:30 to 5 p.m. From 5 to 5:30, it's time for group games, outdoor or indoor play. And finally, we wrap up with cleanup and dismissal from 5:30 to 6 p.m. LEAPS is a huge help with our schoolwork. The program is committed to our academics. We get homework help and tutoring from the staff. We also get to do STEM projects and join reading clubs, which makes learning those subjects more fun and hands-on. The program really focuses on our social emotional learning, or SEL. We learn how to build healthy connections and practice understanding ourselves and others through games, journaling, and group discussions. We have daily SEL check-ins and reflection circles. The activities focus on things like empathy, self-awareness, and relationships. A staff member said that they've seen us become more thoughtful and supportive of one another. And for me, I learned how to calm down when I'm upset instead of walking away. We also get to learn and practice new skills that will help us in the future. We work on leadership development, we play teamwork and communication games, and we have options for activities like art, music, coding, cooking, and even financial literacy. We can do career exploration activities, which is cool for thinking about our future.
Good evening. My name is Juliana Gessner, and I am a 7th grader at Arcadia Middle School. This slide shows the huge varieties of activities we have available. There's something for everyone. In academics, we have coding and robotics and educational games. For creative arts, we get to do arts and craft, painting and drawing, and music and dance. In recreation, we play team games and do fitness challenge. And finally, our club and special events are awesome. We have a cooking club culture celebrations, and fun spirit days and talent shows. Leaps is clear having a positive impact. We've seen increased homework completions, improved school attendance, better emotional regulations, and a teacher has said students are more focused and motivated to learn. And a parent said they've seen a huge change in how their child handles frustration. We are learning skills that last. This slide is just a collection of photos showing us having a great time working together and learning. We really are excellent to be part of LEAPS, and we want you to be excited about it too. Last thing we want to share is how others can get involved. To enroll in this program, families can get forms at the front office or online, or contact their program director, Cassidy Torres, for details. The program also welcomes the community to volunteer or partner with us. Parents, businesses, and organizations can collaborate through mentors, workshops, or donations to support us.
Thank you for your continued support. We truly appreciate your partnership in helping us learn, grow, and thrive every day. Together, we are building a safe and inspiring space where all students can succeed academically, socially, and emotionally.
Picture time. The board, deputy, superintendent, Baker. It's okay, you won't hurt it. Now I have a time for Board of Education recognition. If I can invite the teams from Athena Middle School and Autumn Lane up. On behalf of the Greece Central School District, we would like to formally congratulate both Autumn Lane Elementary School and Athena Middle School for being recognized by the Democrat and Chronicle as finalists in the Rochester's Choice Best Public School Awards. This recognition is voted on by community members in the greater Monroe County area and represents the commitment to high standards, the incredible staff, the strong leadership, and genuine partnership with families. Autumn Lane Principal Mike Ferris shared that behind the recognition is a community of truly amazing people. The honor is fueled by the commitment of every staff member from administration to support personnel who show up daily to create a wonderful place for children to learn and grow. And at Athena Middle School, Principal Todd Wallenhorst acknowledges that middle school is a critical time in the K-12 educational journey, and Athena Middle School has a veteran staff who deeply understands the importance of these transitional years. As finalists, both schools have been invited to attend Rochester's Choice Awards Gala in December. We wish both schools the best of luck and are extremely proud of this well-deserved recognition. Congratulations to the staff, families, and students of Autumn Lane Elementary and Athena Middle School. Congratulations. Would anybody like to say any words or no? Okay, we'll do a picture then, all right? Pictures with the board. Deputy Superintendent Zeffis and Flagler. Thank you. Sorry, Mike, you look good. All right, 2.01 staffing. Can I have somebody move staffing to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Butler, second by Mrs. Felzarano. Any comments, questions, concerns on staffing? Seeing none, all is in favor? That passes 9-0. 2.02, the non-unit rate sheet. Can I have somebody move that to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Maloney, seconded by Mr. Butler. Any comments, questions, concerns on that? Seeing none, all is in favor? That passes 9-0. Moving on to 4.01, the strategic map plan. Superintendent Smallene.
Yes, so I'd just like to call David Blautz to come up with me as well as we go through our presentation. All right, good evening. I'm very excited to share with the board our plan as we begin our journey on redesigning our new strategic plan, which would be Strategic Plan 2032. As you're all well aware, our current plan will come to an end at the end of next school year, and we are beginning that process that will take us through this year and into next year so that we could begin our 27-28 school year with a new strategic plan. So our intention tonight is to share the process, go through our next steps at a very kind of high level, and really ensure that it's a collaborative and transparent process. So for tonight, what we want to do is just spend a couple slides just sharing what is a strategic plan and why do they exist? Why are they important for organizations like school districts to follow a strategic plan that really puts us out about 5 years. So we'll walk through that and then want to give you the overview of what the next 3 years will look like as we build this process and then have the opportunity to answer any questions that you may have. So before we go forward, what I wanted to do is just take a minute to introduce David Blautz. For many of you, that are on different committees. You've had the opportunity to work with Dave. But Dave has been a teacher in been with the district for 21 years, your 21st year? Yeah, so we're tied for amount of time in the district. But Dave began in the district as a special education teacher. And during his time as a teacher, spent a lot of time as a mentor teacher, was a teacher leader, participated in the school improvement process as a teacher, and really was just a support for his colleagues in the building. Recently, he became a teacher on special assignment for school improvement and for professional learning. And really during that time, what Dave has done is expanded his influence across the district, played a significant role in district committees like our Response Intervention Committee, our Special Education Committee. He's been a key contributor to our PLC District Guiding Coalition, and also a big part in our shared decision-making team that was put together last year. In addition to that, in the creation of our Strategic Plan 2017 and in our most recent one, Dave has played a big role in supporting the process Last year, he was kind of the lead, or not last year, last strategic plan, he was the lead facilitator during that process. And what Dave brings is very unique. Dave is still a teacher. And what Dave does is he's masterful at beginning with the why when he has groups together to stay focused on the reason why we're together, in this case, the strategic plan. But in addition to that, he does an excellent job ensuring that all voices are heard and ensuring that the voices at the table, everybody has their opportunity to share, and that we work through different dilemmas that come up and that voices are heard within that final product. Recently, I think we've had to share Dave outside of his time here in the district. Outside of his time, he's been working with some neighboring districts through their strategic plan process. So because Dave has done such a nice job here, other districts have reached out where he's led and supported. You could see here districts like Northern Utica, Spencerport, Kendall, and Holly. So we're fortunate to have Dave be a part of this process, and I'm going to let him now share the next few slides about what is the strategic plan and why is it important to a school district.
Awesome, thank you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me in today. I really appreciate the opportunity. Extremely excited to get back into this work here, strategic planning in Greece as well. So thank you for that. I do want to comment too on the slide before. So thanks for all the positive words that you just gave to me. What I do within district and outside is definitely a result of everything, the leadership, skill development, and the empowerment that I've received here in the Greece Central School District. So I'm truly grateful for everything that I've learned, from data analysis for continuous school improvement by Bernard and Geisy. I was part of that process. The listening leader and leading complex chains of fear, and even most recently with our work with Dufour and Jason Andrews around highly effective teams and highly effective PLCs. That work has helped me grow as a leader and as a teacher in the district, so I appreciate all the opportunities that created for me, so thank you very much. Whenever I talk about strategic planning, I always start with this slide, and the slide's actually connected into the video, but for sake of time, we're not going to watch this video today. And it just really highlights the importance of what this work is truly about, right? So there's a simplicity of a strategic plan document that everybody always sees, but this work is more than that. It's really around creating a just cause for our organization. It's the development of idea of a future state that's so affirmative, appealing, and inspirational that others are willing to sacrifice for, unite with us, and help advance our shared vision, right? That's what this work is truly about. And how do we advance that vision? We develop our work through this idea of power story. So there's some research around this, which I'll get into in a little bit, but I always start with the premise of something simple, like think about your favorite book or your favorite movie, right? What makes those storylines so great, right? They hook us, they pull us in, they allow us to unite with the character along their journey. We get so invested within those storylines, right, that we try to empathize with the character, right? We send them our love, we send them hope, we send them power, we send them strength, right, as they face their trials and tribulations. And ultimately, when they finally reach that pinnacle of success, right, we celebrate them, we breathe that sigh of relief, we rejoice with them. And this is truly what this work is around. It's about creating a narrative so powerful that others want to unite with us along our way, that they find inspiration by our work, they find hope by our work, right? They want to become part of our journey and pursue our mission together. And ultimately, at the end, we get to celebrate our successes as one entire unit. And that's what we try to create with the strategic planning work. There's a little research around it, too. As far as process where we go, Marshall Gantz, he's a professor from Harvard, studied a lot of social movement leaders. He gets into a little bit around Moses, Bible story from Moses from the Bible, and how he led his people out of Egypt. He talks about some women's rights leaders, civil rights leaders, even the farmers movement as well. As he digs into that research, he found out, like, what do all these people have that help others organize around them, help them to mobilize other people? And the idea was around this idea of power story. So he starts off with three components. One is the power self, which is really like, who are we as individuals, right? So what's our core values? What do we believe in? What empowers us? What's our call to education? So we spend some time on the individuals who are part of this process. And the next part of his journey is the power of us. So now, how do you get all those individual people, individual beliefs, and individuals' calls to action to unite as one towards a common cause, right? So he spends a little time doing some action around that, and those social movement leaders were able to do that, unite the individual with the group. And then lastly is the power of now, the story of now. So how do you get all those people together and also create a vision for the future that you're trying to accomplish, right? And that's part of the process that we'll go through here within the strategic plan. So every stakeholder that we have involved, which Jeremy we'll talk about here in a couple of minutes, will be a part of that process. So we'll spend some time on the individual and the group, and then think about how we can advance our organization. So just in basics, like I said, that I always like to start theoretical with that because I believe in the power story and I believe in what a just cause stands for our organization. But in basic terms too, our strategic plan, it's just a roadmap for us, right? It starts off, we're gonna start this year thinking about where are we now, right? And then think about where we want to go and then how will we get there. It's also future focused, right? So we're not just thinking about tomorrow, right? We're thinking about 5 years from now. So what are the things that we're going to have to do to accomplish the goals that we need to 5 years from now into the future? It also guides decisions. If you think about our work with the REACH 2027 plan, every building was grounded into that work. So all their school improvement plans, our professional learning plans, everything was grounded into the 3 commitments that we have within those plans. So it serves as a guide for what we're doing. It's also a shared vision. So everybody in the group is working towards that just cause. Like I said, it's around them being willing to sacrifice some daily things in order to achieve and accomplish what we're ultimately trying to do for our students and in our community. And lastly, it's a living document. So this is not something that we just put on a shelf. We create that beautiful booklet and just leave be, right? We always come back to it. We have metrics in there that we're going to constantly analyze, come back to, talk about, that you'll be informed about in this whole process. But we want to make that document living. We want to make it actionable for people to be a part of.
So what this is demonstrating to you is really a 3-year plan. So what you could see, it says 2026, but it's really 2025-26. And we call that our preparation year. So what we want to accomplish this year is to build a foundation, right, where we're gathering important information, data, through shared all of our different stakeholders of what has gone well. What are strengths of the current plan that we like, that we want to continue? Where are there some obstacles? What are some challenges that we're seeing within the current plan? And then what do we want to go further with, as Dave mentioned, at the end of 5 years from our new plan. So this year is really a time for us to gather the information, and doing that through a committee called the Advisory Committee that will help kind of organize how we're going to get out and get that information and what we're going to look at this year. So this is really our preparation year to gather as much as we can about our current state within our current strategic plan. Next year is it's really 2026-27. That's the development. Now that's when we really get into the nitty-gritty, where we start to analyze our a final evaluation of our current plan, but then start drafting and thinking about our new mission, our new vision, and what are those core values that are going to drive that work. That's also when we start talking about what are those commitments that we want to see in our strategic plan as we go forward. What will those strategies be to help us support towards those commitments? And then what will be those metrics that will be able to give us real-time information of, are we on the right path or do we have to make adjustments? That's the work that we'll see in next year, and we'll use all different types of stakeholders, community forums, surveys, focus groups to gather that information with a goal of being able to bring a new strategic plan to the Board of Education for you to hopefully approve, and then we adopt going into our 27-28 school year. And that you could see that when we do launch our new strategic plan, it's not that we could just plop that down in front of everybody and say, here's our plan, let's move forward. That's going to take now getting that out to the public, everybody seeing what's in our new plan. And then from there, as Dave mentioned earlier, how do we start ensuring professional development is going to be available to match the new commitments and strategies within that, ensuring that the commitments and strategies that are in our current school improvement plans for REACH 27 now are going to be in those plans as we go into our new strategic plan starting in 2027-28. So our launch year is really going to be an entire year of rolling that out and ensuring that we can meet the demands that are in that strategic plan. So that's just a general overview of what the next 3 years will look like as we begin this work. Now, for this year, what we want to do is gather that foundation. So you could see, we really want to spend time evaluate the effectiveness of this current plan. Identify, look to see what's out in education, what are some emerging trends that we want to consider with our new strategies, looking at our demographics, our technology, and workforce readiness, all as ways that would need to be included in our new plan. And so that first step is really going to be to develop that advisory team, which is really researchers and feedback. And that's a larger group, you could see, consisting of Board of Education members, admin, staff, students, parents, and community. They'll convene on a monthly basis once that's up and running. And then the next committee that would help support that is our core team. And that's really just our planning and synthesizers. That's a small group of district leaders, which is really there just to help plan for the advisory team, put information together so that when that advisory team comes together, we could take advantage of our time together and get work done. So you can see there's two teams, the advisory team, larger team consisting of multiple stakeholders, and a core team, a smaller group of district employees that is just there to help facilitate the work along as we move forward throughout this year. So it kind of repeats of the previous slide. So our immediate next steps, our most immediate next steps that we'll do in this process is to form our advisory committee. Different ways that we're going to start gathering input for our current state. Things like our Student Leadership Summit will be a great opportunity for us, where we'll have students that be able to give feedback on our current plan. What's working, what's not working, what would you like to see? We're scheduling out Partners in Progress, similar to what I did last year. That will be an excellent time for people to give that feedback on our plan and what they would like to see. We're looking at doing 2 of those. We're just solidifying the dates right now, and then we'll get them out to the public. And then things like thought exchange, surveys, all different ways that we could get that first round of information as we begin the next year, which is really the development. And then our goal, like I said, is to bring probably myself and Dave come back by the end of this year and say, well, here we are. This is what we set out to do. This is the work that we accomplished, and this is where we see ourselves going into the 2026-27 school year. Questions?
Mr. Butler.
Thank you for the presentation. Looking forward to this process. The first question I had was around the third bullet in your 2026 box that talks about identifying emerging trends in education, demographics, technology, and workforce readiness. I just wonder if you could talk a little bit more about the way you envision doing that. And my hope is that as you're gathering that the whole board will be able to learn from that stuff as well.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit?
So every year, we've been working closely with Hanover. Every year they've put out a continuing trends in education, kind of based upon research that they've done throughout the country. So I think it's important to be thinking forward around what's going to happen in 2032 that we might not even consider within our work. For example, some of the basic things I think about is some of the things that we've used for assessment in the past, right? iReady has been a big one. We came from Ames Web, which was on our previous strategic plan, right? So those things can shift sometimes too. So kind of being ahead of the game to dig into some of that research and figure out some of that is going to be important for our work moving forward. Not that we have to adopt any of it, but just kind of see what else is out there from other districts and how people are combating some of that work.
I think another piece when I think of trends is really looking at career pathways and opportunities for our students, similar to the work that we're starting now, that we know that is important work for our students to have them ready to get out into the workforce, whatever choice they determine. But that's an area we look at trends where I think we're moving in that right direction, and I think there's a lot of opportunity that we can incorporate into our strategic plan in that area, in the area of career development and career pathways outside of what we're doing now. So that's one area of trends. Demographics simply means who are our students in front of us? Our students, our community, our teaching staff, to be really clear on, who are we as a district when it comes to that work, and making sure that we're meeting the needs of our community and also getting them ready to life beyond high school.
Also to add into that too, Another example would be the profile of a graduate. So our profile of a graduate was something that was not done across New York State. So when we started digging into our work for the REACH 2027 plan, we saw a lot of districts across the country starting to implement some of that work to get a clearer vision for what they wanted for their students of the future. As a committee, we decided that was something that was important to us, and we utilized that within our current strategic plan. So I just wanted to give you an example. That's something that came out of that work before.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And I'm glad you mentioned the internal trends also, Jeremy. A lot of times when we're thinking about trends, we're thinking about just out in the world trends, but I think those things affect us internally as well. You've got data on our employee base and retirements and all of those sorts of things that I think can have a profound impact on our ability to operate as a district. So I hope that those internal trends get a lot of attention.
Yeah, we do. We have to pay attention to that because we could have a vision, but we also need the certified staff to actually go down that path. So we have to have all that information before we put something into a 5-year plan. And we have to ensure that we could give that quality experience to our students as we build that out in the next 5 years.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, do you have, sorry.
One more quick one. One of the things I'd love to see or hear is how you're planning on keeping because I know there'll be board engagement in the strategic planning process, but I wonder if you've got a plan for the whole board to stay sort of abreast of the plan as it's being developed, so that there aren't any big surprises at the end of the process.
That is 100%. What we will look for our different opportunities through study sessions, retreats, of course, members that could be on the advisory committee. But I do see an in and out as we gather information to make sure that I have an opportunity to give your feedback and be a part of the process as we go forward over the next 2 years. So 100%.
Thanks.
One thing that when I've shared our work across the state and with some other districts nationally too, people love the component of our measures of success. So the board last time had an opportunity to look at each one of our commitments and come up with bullet points about what it meant for them to ignite learning, what it meant for them to cultivate trust, what it meant for them to expand opportunity. So your voice in that process is huge. And like I said, people around were absolutely love that process. So I would love to do that again too with this group.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 5.01. Can I have somebody move the quarterly reporting of professional service contracts greater than $50,000 for the 25-26 year? Moved by Ms. Slikes, seconded by Ms. Seaman. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 9-0. Moving on to 5.02, change orders. Can I have somebody move those to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Maloney, second by Ms. Farmer. Any comments, questions, concerns on that? I'll just say the change order amounts to a $12,060 expense to the district. With that, all those in favor? That passes 9-0. Moving on to 6.01, this is written information only, quarterly reporting of service contracts, $20,000 to $50,000. Does anybody have any questions on that? Seeing none, moving on, budget and revenue status report. Again, that's written information. Does anybody have any questions on that? All right, moving on to the treasurer's report, 7.01. Can I somebody move the treasurer's report for August 2025 to the table? Moved by Vice President Stutzel, second by Mr. Bonagorio. Any comments, questions, concerns on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 9-0. Moving on to 7.02, the bid. Can I somebody move that to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Bonagorio, second by Mr. Maloney. Any comments, questions, concerns on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 9-0. Moving on to program action, student trip Arcadia High School. Can I somebody move that to the table, please? Moved by Ms. Farmer, second by Mr. Butler. Any comments, questions, concerns on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 9-0. Moving on to 8.02, Athena student trip. Can I somebody move that to the table, please? Moved by Ms. Seaman, second by Ms. Falzarano. Any comments, questions, concerns on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 9-0. All right, Board of Education Information Committee reports. Board of Education Code of Conduct Committee report. Mr. Bonagorio.
Thank you, Bill. Board Code of Conduct Committee met last Wednesday. It was our third meeting. We have had some really good exchanges. There's a variety of opinions within the committee, but we've been asking some questions. Kind of, I guess, wonders would be the way it's often put amongst the education folks, asking questions about the messaging that's in the document itself, whether it lends to clarity and ease of reference and consistent application. We've had some input from teachers, kind of just anecdotal, I would say, to provide some insights with regard to whether consistency actually flows from the document. We are in the process of, I think, focusing more on how to deepen the just ability to access it for just in a practical way. It's just an ongoing conversation at this point. We expect that we will be developing some discussion points for a final report, as it's actually coming up fairly soon. The fall moves along pretty quickly, so I don't know if any of my colleagues on the board have anything that they would like to add into that.
Thank you, Mr. Berengario. Moving on to the Monroe County School Board's Legislative Committee report. Ms. Slike.
Well, one of the reasons I ran for school board is to advocate, and so I am a representative for Greece on the Monroe County School Boards Association. We reviewed the 13 position papers that will drive the committee's work with legislators, and I thought I would just read to you what the topics are. If anyone is interested, I can send you the position paper so you can get more information about it. Career and technical education program funding, the impact of staff shortages on school districts, the role of regents and state ed department for public education, the federal role, support, not governance, implications of the minimum wage increase on public schools, charter schools, vouchers, and the cost of public education. Down to 7. Universal meals in public schools, the state's investment in public education, keeping our schools safe and secure, zero-emission bus transition. This was kind of interesting because they're very much in support of the electric buses, but they just listed all of the obstacles right now, and they were many, and they didn't even talk about solutions, just that the state's transition period was not realistic at all. Next one is mandates. 12 bus drivers needed, and 13 supporting the emotional well-being of students and staff. We had a lengthy discussion of the pre-K issue. Most of the districts that responded were talking about financial. I chimed in that ours was an issue of space. And I shared what Kelly and I shared on the way to Albany, and that is, what if we partnered with our legislators and used some of the vacant commercial spaces somehow to be able to have a partnership? We thought that might be a cool idea, so we did speak up about that. They took off the one about the universal meals because that was already funded, and they asked for ideas for other position papers. I had suggested legislating some of the benchmarks of the science of reading, which they've done in many states, and how New York State is still lagging. In fact, with the last national report card I saw, and it covered COVID years, but of course, that was true for all of the states. There were only 6 that had a bigger decrease than New York State. So that was it. When I did look at these position papers, though, tax cap came up a lot, so I referred to our expert on tax caps and anything business. And Romeo had a few words he wanted to share with you about that.
Thank you. So, Ms. Board Member Like shared with me the position papers. I took a look through them this afternoon, just more the ones that were financially or operationally would have an impact on the district. And what was pleasing to see in there is that most, if not all, of those advocacy points that Monroe County School Boards is using is coming from either business offices throughout the county, superintendent groups throughout the county, other advocacy groups in the area, really all getting behind kind of the same themes, with the ongoing knowledge that costs are just going to continue to increase, and the way the tax cap puts a cap on things and the way you have to override it, and a lot of the ongoing mechanisms that are currently in place need to change at some point in order for school districts to stay sustainable down the road. So I was thankful that you shared them. It gave us and our team a little bit of a heads up of what's coming down the road, but it sounds like it's moving in a great direction for us.
That conclude? All right, Ms. Farmer, you're up. Monroe County School Board's Operations Committee report.
Hello, yes, this is a presentation of the Monroe County School Board's district operations. Dr. Jeff Samara, a retired chief technical officer, I think he retired from Penfield or Webster, I'm sorry, I can't recall, but he wrote a book. And he said that the most practical small wins for your CTO within our districts is a multi-factor authentication. Let me take these off. Least privilege, an account cleanup, strong password policy, data backups. And I think we on the board have seen these as we've gone through our testing that we need to do every year in terms of the data. He also talked about how important it was for employees, awareness and professional development, saying humans are often the weakest link. So he thinks it's very important that people are engaged with this work. How are we protecting the data? He wants practice, security awareness programs, simulated attacks, collaboration with HR and unions, clear reporting channels, and link professional development to Board of Ed policy. So it was, it was interesting. It made some sense, and I believe that Jeremy and Gina were also there, and I think we kind of walked away with all the same kinds of things. I'd like to just add one other thing. I think this comes under operations. I was at Olympia's football game last week, and they called out for volunteers to hold the chains, and nobody volunteered, but I did, so I went and volunteered. I did it when my kids were little, but anybody, that's the best seat in the house when you're moving the chains, so please volunteer. Thank you.
That really wasn't part of the committee report. I'm just going to call you on that. Yeah. A little bit of leeway there, Ms. Farmer. All right, Ms. Falzarano, you're up with the Monroe County School Board's Information Exchange Committee.
Yes, so I'm the representative from Greece for the Information Exchange Committee, and in September, the topic that we heard and learned about from the Webster Central School District was on artificial intelligence. It was really a very engaging presentation because most of it was interactive with prompts, and it required us to be out of our seats and gravitate towards a spectrum of like an imaginary, more to the yes, I agree, to no, I don't agree with that position, and in the middle, because there is a lot of controversy potentially around AI, how it's utilized in our schools, but also in our larger world, and what are the implications for us. We didn't answer or resolve any questions, but it certainly gave us thought around what our next steps might be. And those materials were shared with the board, so you have that. That was sent to you electronically, and Ms. Farmer was there as well. And I think Gina Biondolillo Larson was there too. My relationship with you is showing. I've known Gina a long time. This past month, the topic was shared services presented by the Hilton Central School District. And it really was a very inspiring exchange because being that they are a smaller district population-wise, they rely on partner districts, including Greece, Hamlin, and Parma, to work collaboratively with their school district. And they meet quarterly with members, elected officials, town mayors from Hilton, Parma, Hamlin, and representatives from Greece. And together, they work on initiatives in support of one another. And I think it really is a great testimony to what can get done when people work on behalf of students. One example, a special police force was formed for special events, being that Hilton doesn't have its own police force, so that was one example that was shared. But I think just the fact that tonight we're talking about, shared services and how we can move forward in many different ways as a district, I think that ability to partner with our community, I think, is really going to be very impactful for us. So it's something we might want to continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Frazarano. Mr. Maloney.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second by Vice President Stensel. All those in favor? Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.